So we're all sitting around having a nice little cup of coffee, a morning chat, and here comes our sweet Pebbles to visit. Sweetie?
Oh, it's been one of those days.
Do not. We've already had Pablo come in, and now Pebbles is going to walk in and say hi. Our talks are like, what's next? What's next? Morning, folks. Lester here. Lester and Cornholio. Hi, buddy. Cornholio does not like the dogs running around the barn, and he's gonna let them know who's in charge. He doesn't mind Pablo; they're friends. He does not want the dogs out here. I'm gonna come out this morning and love on the babies for a little while. I haven't fed up yet. It's too early to feed up. It is too early to feed up. But I'll tell you what, I had quite the scare earlier this week, and now I can't seem to help. Come on, Trix. I can't seem to help but just want to spend time. Let me turn my camera around here and show y'all my sweet babies. I think we all get that way, you know, when have you ever like had a maybe a near-death experience? You've been in an accident, or you find out one of your kids have been in an accident, and so then you purposely try to spend more time with them because of what you feel like you almost lost. And if you haven't, everybody loves Jolene. Oh, don't you even start barking at my sweet Jolene. Jolene, Jolene, I wanted to love, not see you chase Trixie around. Not see you chase old Trixie. I'll tell you what we've done. Oh my goodness, sweet girl, please let me make my video. I'll tell you what we've done. We made a challenge. I offered a personal challenge to everybody to show us doing more with the animals, not just feeding and not just chasing. Is that the dumbest thing ever? No, I told Jake and Brienne and Jamie and Ellie, I says, you know what? Jamie got a comment on a video once, not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and it said it was really nice to see you guys spending time with your animals without only doing it during a feed up. Because during a feed up, you see the animals in a certain mode that you don't see them when it's not a feed up time. And you can do things with your babies without feed too. And a lot of what we do on a daily basis doesn't involve feeding. Now, the only unfortunate thing is you sometimes can't get as up and close and personal with the babies without having a bucket of feed. Boy, I'll tell you what, Jolene absolutely wants to know what these dogs are doing over here. Fiona wants to protect Daddy. Jolene, don't you ram Trixie? You're gonna get me hit by Jolene. Them little horns will hurt. I know them little horns can hurt. Everyone loves Jolene so much. And the night that I saw that image of her being herded down the driveway, someone trying to rustle her, guys, oh, that scared me. I can't imagine life without Jolene and Waylon. And then, could y'all, you know, you see these shows on TV where someone's child gets abducted and they don't know what happened. There's no, oh my gosh, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. You guys are going to get me hurt. Jolene's a little girl, but I'm still with a hurt shoulder, and she could knock me right over trying to get at one of y'all. Jolene doesn't take any mess from anybody, and I love that about her. Fiona's smart. She's going way over there, but you two want to get close to me like I'm going to protect you from Jolene, and I can't do it. Jolene's a big girl. She's a sweet girl, but she's tough. Now, I always see those movies about kids that get abducted and parents have no sign of where they're at. And that always scares you. You know, you always picture yourself in those situations and what you would go through and how horrible that would be. And if I'd woken up that morning and these two had not been here, I found an open gate and both these calves would have been gone. I just can't imagine what I would have done. I would have probably gotten my truck and drove down every street in that entire neighborhood. And I don't think you guys know how big that neighborhood is. We talk about the neighborhood across the street and all the development all the time, but I don't think you guys have any idea of how big that place actually is. You know what I'll do? I will actually show you some images right now. I'll tie it into my video here and show y'all some images from the neighborhood across the street and kind of give y'all an idea of what we worry about with all the growth and development and the recent spike in crime. Now, I'm not trying to put blame on people who live in the neighborhood. I'm sure there's great folks who live over there. There are, guys. I'm sure there's great people who live. Hey, I drive a bus over there. I know there's great families. I've made friends with a lot of families who live over there. And so I'm not trying to throw shade on that particular neighborhood. Let me walk out of here and go love on the horses for a little bit. Well, let's just stop and say hi to Pablo first. And notice we're doing all this loving with no feed. Come here, buddy. Do you want to love on Daddy? You want to bite on Daddy? You gonna love or bite? What are you gonna do, love or bite? Oh, he'll love today. He'll love today. All right, Jolene, it's too early to eat. I did not bring you food, Jolene. So you guys know that we don't like doing a feed up early in the morning. Hey, this is a good trivia question. How many of you guys know from watching our videos, why is it that we do not do a big feed up in the morning? Take some time before you finish the video and try to answer that one. I know I've talked about it. I believe that Jamie's talked about it. I think Jake's talked about it. But why is it that we do not do a big feed up in the morning? And I'll come back and give you that answer a little bit later. For right now, though, I'm just going to take a little stroll down to the horses and the donkeys. Remember, we had our donkeys in the front pasture for a while, a couple of weeks, while Voodoo was having his hooves treated. It was easier for me to work on them without the donkeys walking around. But now that he's fine, he still has a little bit of a limp to his step. I'll tell you what, that thrush is something that I never knew anything about until we actually had two horses who got it at the same time. How scary is that? Both Dixie and Voodoo. Hi, Buckies. Both of them got it at the same time. Doesn't he look pretty? How does he do this? Listen, that looks like someone literally that looks like a braid that a woman might do to her hair. How does he do this? And if Brienne did that to be funny or cute and then did not take it out, that's not funny at all to me. We already have the most horrendous knots in his tail. Look at that. Guys, listen to me. Don't sit there and think he's a neglected and deprived and a poor horse needs to be rescued. We cannot get that out. We cannot get that out. That is the saddest thing to me, to see this big old clunky knot in his tail. But all I can think of is cutting his tail short, because we've brushed and combed and done all we could down to this point right over here. And this here is just become such a matted up mess that you cannot fix it. And if you know a way to fix it, don't say, Lester, buy some horse shampoo. We have all that stuff. We've brought him in the stall and we've played with it and we've worked with it. And Jamie has refused to video it because she's so embarrassed that y'all are going to want to disown us because we can't get this out of his tail. But guys, it's been there for as long as I've had him. And no one's ever told me anything yet, so I should have probably not even brought it to your attention. Well, my God, look who just ninja'd up behind me. Look who just ninja'd themselves up right behind me, and I didn't even know y'all were here. They walked up here so quietly. I didn't even know y'all were here, and I'm sorry I didn't see you. I did not see you. You can't love Dan because they're going to get mad. Everyone, they don't mind if you love them, but no one lets you love Dan. Look at Ivy. No one lets you love Dan because they all get jealous and mad. Now these two start biting each other just for fun. Look, did y'all see that? That was just for fun. It's just love. They just love each other and they just hit each other for fun. Hit and kick and bite, and that's all they do, back and forth. All right, so we got some love on some donkeys and horses. Voodoo's doing a whole lot better, friends. Whole lot better. So in case you're worried about his feet, Courtney has come out and he's fine. Dixie's still struggling through hers. I don't know why she can't seem to kick it, but she's absolutely still struggling with that thrush. So Jake's project has come to a complete halt because of his hand situation. We're going to address that at some point. I don't know how much Jake and I can do together, but I would help him, except I'm also injured, friends. I've not completely healed yet. Once he sees I have no food, I should be pretty safe. He's sitting here checking out his friends across the way. Oh, Annabelle, you sound like a little man. She sounds like a little man. She has a little man's voice. So this over here will be Jake's eventual pasture. You can see over there the work that he's done. Right over there. And so this over here will be his pasture one day. He'll have his barn right up through here. And at that point, his pasture will go all the way down. Well, all of that you're seeing all through there will be all of Jake's. Which means that will be where Moo will live. We don't want to make that move official until Jake is all the way ready. That means a lot of fencing. Hi, buddy. I'm not going to love on him. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me see if I can get some love on Annabelle. Now, she may not love me because there's dogs everywhere. Annabelle's one that will give you a lot of love when you have food in your hand. She doesn't always give you love if you don't have food. So once she finds out that I'm foodless, she may walk away. Yep. Now that she knows that I'm foodless, she's going to walk away. Foodless. That's a word, y'all. Foodless. Now that she knows that I'm foodless, no, without food, she'll walk away. And I get no love. Fiona! Come on, baby. Moo's like, you come over here with no snacks. Shame, shame, Daddy. Shame, shame. And then Rip. I'm not even going to try to love on Rip because I don't think that you should love on bulls. And we all have our opinions, and you're entitled to yours. I'm entitled to mine. But what's happening right here, I want to show you. You all saw where Rip was at when I walked up, right? Now, Rip is standing here on what he considers his property. These are his cows. This is his land. And you saw what he's doing right here, right? You saw Rip was having a stare down with Moses. Moses is across the DMZ here, and Moses is standing there amongst all of his cows. And so bulls do like to show and project their ownership. And so, guys, we live in a society. Even Moo will sometimes get into the whole pretending to be a bull type thing. So what I do not want to do is walk over here and start loving on Rip and trying to let Moses see that there's a soft side of him. You don't want your bulls to have a soft side. Not if they're a herd and a lead bull. You do not want them to have a soft side. So for a lot of people who think Billy's so great and Moses is so great and it's so sweet how Pawpaw can love on his bulls, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. But if you think about it, because his bulls always have a soft side, that doesn't, oh man, how do I say this the right way? I probably shouldn't say a word about this, but my dad's bulls always get their butts kicked. by other people's bulls. Y'all have seen a number of times where Tex would whip up on them. And what you've not seen is when Judy's bulls, who live on the other side of Pawpaw's, also beat up on them. And so it's real sweet to love on Billy and to love on Moses, but it's not so sweet watching them get their heinies kicked. You know, because I'm just going to move on from that. So what's going on right now, Rip wants me to leave. Rip does not want me to stand here at this spot where he was trying to show domination in his own way over Moses, letting Moses know this is his spot. Stay away, stay out. These are, you know, Annabelle's his girl. Moo is his friend. And Moses is doing the same thing. It's just kind of a non-verbal thing that bulls do back and forth. I have another question for you. How many of y'all know why we have two major fences here? Why do we have a fence here that's 5.5 foot tall, barbed wire, and we have a fence over on that side that's 5 foot tall? Does anyone know why we have? There you go. That's exactly what we want our bulls to do. To know that they control the pastures. It belongs to them. Tricky just wants to play. And so, I won't make you answer this in the comments, but what you have to do, if you only have one fence and you have bulls on each side of this one fence, do y'all know bulls would actually, even though it has to hurt and scratch and cut them all up, bulls would still fight through a fence. If you have a single fence with a bull on each side, they will literally fight right here. They will fight through the fence, even though they're risking cutting themselves to pieces with this barbed wire. So what we have to do, and what I've done here, back when we had Tex and we had so many issues with Billy, is I came by and I built the fence on my dad's side. We built that fence, me and Jake, and we came by and we came over and built another fence on this side, and we left this nice wide, what we call the DMZ. So now the bulls can walk up to their respective fences, but they can't actually ever fight through them. And so that's something that we had to do that we thought would be best for them. It sucks that we have all of this wasted space here, an entire 10-foot section of just no man's land. Well, a DMZ, as we joke, but it does give a nice buffer so that our bulls don't end up fighting through the fence. So, all right, well, listen, I think I've kept y'all long enough, and I'll kind of walk down and show you where Jake's pasture is going to end at. So you see Jake's fence over there. It's going to come all the way to about, well, here's his corner post over here. Let me kind of get a little closer. So there's Jake's corner, his one corner post. And from there, his fence goes out across to the field, out to the hay field. It's going to go down all the way as far down. I'm not going to have to walk it, am I? Don't let me walk it. Jake's fence will go as far down as my corner post. And at my corner post, it'll go straight across and match up to Jake's fence. And so Jake will have a really nice sized pasture, complete with a pond. This over here will be the pasture where Waylon and Jolene will live, along with our donkeys and horses. And so what I like about that is, at least on my side, Rip, who will live over there, Waylon, who will live over here, will never have a chance to fight at each other. Now, Jake will have to somehow find a way to make it to where Moses and Rip don't fight on the other side. But that will be up to Jake to decide that and to figure all that out however he wants to do it. That's not my doings. That would be on Jake. Jake's hand won't be hurt forever, and Jake will be back to building fence in no time. But for right now, that's what your bulls do. They kind of stand and they stare at each other all day long, talking their mess. And we don't want to interfere with that. We want our bulls to be bulls. You know, I'll say this and then I'll let you go. It's been a long video already. But I think that every woman, now listen ladies, I'm a man and I could be very wrong about this, but I'm gonna say that I think that most every woman wants a man that is willing to lead, you know, her and the family, willing to fight for her and his family. Careful there, Trixie. Looks like Ivy's up to no good. And I just look, she walked over to get my loving. She did not want me to leave without giving her a little bit more loving. And you love that. That's just kind of the way we've been conditioned through all of these years. Now, there may be a certain movement going on right now where people are not about all that. And you might think that that's the ways of old, and in this day and age, a man needs to be soft and gentle and kind. And guys, a man can be soft and gentle and kind, but he needs to know when to turn it on. A man needs to know when to turn it on. And in the world we live in, I think most of you women would agree that your man can be soft and gentle, kind, but when his family or his woman is faced with danger, your man needs to be able to turn it on and defend, protect. Trixie. And that's not a put down to women, guys. It's not a put down to women at all. It's not a put down to women at all. It's just fulfilling your role. And a man, to be complete, needs to know that he can fulfill his role. And you don't ever want to take that away from him. And a woman needs to know that she can fulfill her role. And I will not dare try to tell you what a woman's role is. I will not dare even put my foot in my mouth and tell you about a woman's role. But as a man, I can speak for myself and say that I feel like a young man, and I hope that my boys will learn this. A man needs to be ready to defend his family and his wife at all costs and at all times. He needs to be always vigilant and be on the lookout for anything that can be harmful to he or his family. And if the time comes, then he needs to be courageous enough to put himself into harm's way to protect those that he loves. And no matter how soft you may be when you're young, as we just heard right there, as you grow up and as your body changes, so does your mind and your mentality and your outlook on life. And you never want to take that away from a young man. You never want to take that away from a young man. That's just Lester's opinion. Because when the day comes for him to stand up and protect his family, which would be his sweet Jolene and any future babies, you want him to be a man. And you do not want to, demasculate him by trying to put your hands on him and trying to love on him and trying to gentle him down. You want him to be a bull. And a bull is untamed. That's just Lester's opinion. Jolene's like, I can take care of myself, Daddy. I don't need no bull. Have you not seen the size of my horns compared to his? And he's like, that hurts, Jolene. Don't say those mean things to me. Didn't you hear Daddy say don't be mean to bulls, little bulls? And she's like, psh. Daddy's mumbo jumbo. Oh boy. I enjoyed today's video. All right, now to answer my question. The answer to my question I asked earlier. Most of y'all are not watching anymore. If it's 25 minutes in, there are very few of y'all watching. But the reason we do not feed in the mornings, in the early mornings, is because we want our babies to eat. We want them to do their jobs. We want them to get up and eat, work. And if we were to come out and feed them early in the morning, then they would end up laying around. And if your animals simply lay around all day, well, you're not doing any favors for them, and you're sure not doing any favors for yourself. All right, friends. We're gonna get on out of here. Y'all say goodbye to Pablo. Pablo, can you say bye to everybody? All right, that's goodbye.